Hey everybody, welcome in. It is September 26, 2018. What is up? It is Wednesday, week 4 preview. Grade the trades, grade the waiver wire transactions. It's all happening right meow. So first off, let's talk about the trades. Tori and I had a trade yesterday. Everyone pretty much knows. I'll give us an A-. I probably could have gotten a little bit more, but again, I felt like I needed to give up a little bit more. It's Michael Thomas and I think Dalvin Cook, I sold him a little bit at his floor. We'll see, because Dalvin Cook could probably be an absolute stud. The real difference maker is Mark Ingram. If he can turn out to be an RB1 / high-end RB2, I think I did pretty good. Anyway, for CJ and Gabe, that was the other trade. 8 total players were involved if you include the D.D. Westbrook drop by Gabe. CJ acquired Trey Burton, Christian McCaffrey, and Drew Brees. I think CJ did exactly what he needed to do, which is to kind of sell off the high upside but higher risk players in Doug Baldwin and Devontae Freeman, which we don't know how long they're going to be out or when they will become effective. But he is sacrificing some wide receiver depth, which could be an issue. However, he does have Alvin Kamara, and now you couple him with Christian McCaffrey, probably make CJ's running back combination one of the more deadly of duos in our league. So I think this is a very solid trade for CJ, getting Drew Brees, the consistency at that spot. It's exactly what CJ needs. He just needs get a couple more wins here, and it'll put him in a good playoff contention as we get down the later towards the end of the season. Where Gabe, on the other hand, made a trade for the upside in the future. Devontae Freeman and Doug Baldwin, we just don't know how long they'll be out for or when they will be effective. He does get Cooper Kupp, which does help his wide receiver situation now, which I think is what makes this deal so fascinating, is that you are seeing Drew Brees and Christian McCaffrey traded to CJ here, but what you aren't probably seeing is Cooper Kupp and Doug Baldwin, which is kind of depleting CJ's wide receiver depth, but also at the same time adding wide receiver depth to Gabe, since you can start 4 wide receivers. So if you look at Gabe's team, he has Jarvis Landry right now, but you have Cooper Kupp, you have the possibility of starting Doug Baldwin. That's a pretty mean combination of wide receivers there. And then Quincy Enunwa and whoever else you want to throw in. He does have Leonard Fournette. He does have Kenyon Drake, so 2 startable running backs. Latavius Murray, we'll see if that is going to be effective. But I think overall this was a pretty good trade for Gabe. We're going to see who ends up winning this trade later on, or if it's completely fair. But I think this is exactly what both teams needed, so I'm going to give this an A. Fucking awesome job, both of you guys. Exemplary performances with trades. I feel like no one's really getting fucking swindled, which is what I really appreciate. It's really showing how much we have evolved in this league over time. I think most of our trades now are fairly balanced and fairly favorable for both sides, which is what makes a good league. The one-sided trades aren't great and make everyone pissed off. So having very fair, very balanced trades really make the league better and make it a lot easier to trust owners in leagues and open the floor for future trade discussions. Next up, we will do the transaction previews here. I overpaid for Tyler Boyd by a bit. I don't understand why no one else really bid more than, I think, $5, which blows my mind. Clearly the number 1 wide receiver on the board on the transaction. I think I overpaid a bit. I probably should have bid about 15 or 16, but I was so desperate when I made that, just because I didn't know if the trade was going to go through with Tori. And then once the trade went through with Tori, I was like, I have no fucking depth at the wide receiver spot because I dropped Philip Dorsett and Dante Pettis. So I needed this. He's had 2 straight weeks of massive games. I'm not expecting this to continue on, but I think he's a great flex play, which is all you can ask for at this time at the wide receiver spot. And then I also acquired Javorius Allen, which I think Eli was the only other person that bid on him at $5. He is the number 1 running back available in our league. I don't understand why no one else bid more, but I don't know. I was looking at slim depth, especially with Mark Ingram, and I know I have still strong running back depth, but Mark Ingram probably won't play until week 6, maybe week 7. We just don't know. So we will see, but just in case if anything happens in the cover bye weeks, pick up Javorius Allen. Anyway, enough about me. Let's move on to Gabe here, picking up Tyler Eifert for a whopping $16. I saw Scott bid $6 for him, which also blows my mind again. Tyler Eifert garnered $16, and Tyler Boyd, the second highest bid was $5. I don't quite understand that again, but again, it doesn't matter. For all I know, I could be an absolute moron for picking up Tyler Boyd, and Gabe could be a genius for picking up Tyler Eifert. But $16 is a bit much. I will give Gabe a C+ for this move just because he spent a fuck ton on Tyler Eifert. The upside is there. The upside is definitely there, but that's a lot for a tight end. A lot for a tight end, especially for a tight end that has an injury-prone history, and we just don't know. Anyway, next up we had Brittany making one of her genius moves. Seattle defense at $10, probably a little bit too much. $5 here. I mean $10. Probably $5 would have been better. I think someone else bid $0 on Seattle's defense. Either way, good streaming situation. Yeah, solid move by Brittany. I'll give her a B+ for this. Probably would have been an A if she didn't spend as much. But again, it's all hindsight at this point. I don't know. I can't predict the future, but hopefully one day I can. Next up we had Weston picking up Andy Dalton for $3. Number 1 QB on the board. I'm going to give Weston an A+. Solid effort. Surprised no one else really competed for this, especially since everyone in our league loves to have 2 quarterbacks. But yeah. Next up we have Eli. Jordy Nelson for $0. Come on. Anyone else wanting a wide receiver in our league, that's a steal, Eli. Fucking awesome job. I'm going to give you an A- on this. Chris Ivory, it's all whatever. It's just depth at this point, so nothing to write home about. And then Travis acquiring Detroit, dropping Dallas. I'll give you a C+ or a B-. I don't know. It's a defense. It's a streamer. I don't think this is going to be Travis's long-term solution. Regardless, yeah. Anyway, enough about those. Let's hop into the matchup previews this week. And I was looking last night, and it's going to be a lot of fucking juicy matchups. Matchup of the week will be Tori versus Scott. Both 2 of the remaining 3 undefeated teams. There will actually be 2 matchups of the week again. So Scott and Tori. Tori versus Scott. Tori's currently a 3-point favorite over Scott. Tori has her starting players in. Should be set to go. I guess Tori is waiting to see if Dalvin Cook is going to play this week before she decides to start him. Tori would probably start Tevin Coleman over Bilal Powell. That's just my opinion. But yeah, Scott, I think both these teams are going to be squaring off just fine. Scott's wide receiver depth is actually turning out to be pretty strong here. His running back depth is the only thing that's kind of weak on his team with Royce Freeman, which is kind of a hit or miss each week. Next up, we have Jay versus Katie. Katie's actually a 12-point favorite over Jay. Both these teams have their lineups locked and loaded. Katie's team looking good. Jay's team's looking good. Katie looking to get her 2nd win of the season. Jay looking to get his 3rd win of the season. Again, Katie, 12-point favorite. Next up, we have Brittany versus Brady. And this could be a make or break situation for Brady. I'm not going to say that quite yet. I do have hopes for Brady. Brady always does well. But Brittany always does well too, and Brittany's a 7-point favorite right now. I think everything's riding on that Houston-Indianapolis game. You've got Eric Ebron, T.Y. Hilton, D-Hop, Deshaun Watson, 4 players all involved in that one game that Brady's hoping for a barn burner. He's hoping for a scoreboard bonanza. Brittany, on the other hand, team just looks fucking solid as usual. Todd Gurley is a man amongst boys, always. Thursday night, we'll see how that matchup goes, but yeah. Next up, we have Weston versus Scott, or Weston versus Gabe. That is like the 5th time I've done this. Weston is currently None of these teams have their lineups completed, which is totally fine, but Weston needs to put in his quarterback. We'll slide in Andy Dalton there for him for projection's sake. So it'll be around 136 projected for Weston, and Gabe will be projected, well, I don't know. He's still got to slide in a running back, a tight end, and another running back, tight end, wide receiver. So I'm just going to throw in 30 points for there. Yeah, they're going to be about projected pretty similarly, around 136 to about 136. This should be a pretty good one. I don't really know exactly what game to really light up on it. However, I will say this: Patrick Mahomes and T.Y. Hilton. Hopefully, Weston's hoping for a lot of touchdowns for T.Y. Gabe's hoping for anything but T.Y. So that might be the matchup to watch out for both those guys. Next up, this is the other matchup of the week. We have CJ and Travis. Travis 3-0, looking to continue his win streak. And then we got CJ, 6-point favorite right now. CJ is a 6-point favorite. I repeat, 6-point favorite. We'll see how this works. Travis is rolling with Marshawn there, beast mode. Yep, that seems about right since AP's out. But yeah, not much to really go over here. I don't really know what matchup to highlight for either of these two teams. I will say the Patriots matchup does include Chris Hogan for CJ, Tom Brady, and Gronk for Travis. And I think that's pretty much the only other shared matchup for these two. I'm sure there's other random things here and there, but that's the only matchup that probably is going to be helpful or hurtful for either one of the teams. And last but not least, myself and Eli, the 9th versus the 12th seed. This might be the most depressing matchup of the week. I am just hoping for my second win. Eli is hoping, not make or break like I was saying earlier, but hoping for his first win of the season. I am currently a 14-point favorite over Eli. We will see how this matchup turns out. I am nervous as usual because, yeah, I'm just fucking nervous. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. Everything will be fine. We'll see about that though. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Get your lineup set. Remember, Thursday Night Football is Vikings and Rams. I am expecting the Vikings to win this by about a touchdown. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Peace out.